Hello and welcome to Paw Prints on the Mountain, brought to you by the Humane Society of the White Mountains. I'm your host, Mike Bosely. Joining me in just a couple moments will be Deena Pace, and we will have all kinds of fun. But first, before we go into that, it is time for Mike's Pet Peeves. Now, Mike's Pet Peeves is merely my opinion, not the opinion of the board, nor the Humane Society, nor really anybody that matters. It's just me talking to you, and basically you can't sue us for what I'm about to say. Disclaimer, done. So what I can't stand, I recently tried to do some shopping online. It is now integrated with our lives. We all order from Amazon and everything else. Now, Amazon's got all my information saved, in, out. But what about that random product that you need for that random project? Now you're sent to a website in which you have to create an account. Why? Why can't I just buy the product and move on with my life? Why do I have to create an account? Okay, all right, you know what? I'm past that. I'm going to create an account. So they ask me for all my information. They ask me for my genealogy. It goes on and on. And then finally we get to the whole test questions thing. Test question number 1. Who was your second grade teacher? I don't know. I didn't repeat the second grade 4 times. And I did go to college, which means I definitely killed that brain cell that involved my second grade teacher's name. The next question was, where is your happy place? It depends on what day of the week it is. Some days my happy place may be in my backyard. Other days it may be hiding under my house with a pair of headphones. And other days it could be at the Humane Society. I don't know how to answer that question. I just don't understand why it needs. So actually what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to see if I can do this. Answer them all the same. I'm going to make the word abominable snowman the answer to all my security questions.
Well, that's secure now.
I'm going to choose a better word than that, but you see where I'm going. I'm going to see if that works.
Let's just give it on out.
You know,
give us
anybody would like,
too?
well, I mean, I'm sure somebody in China does not want my information, promise. But what is more annoying than having to check out of a random website is when you lose your dog when you're camping. Camping is very part of what we do here. And it is unfortunate that we have so many, week after week, I see a post on Facebook from the Humane Society, this dog was lost in this area. It's mind-blowing in some ways, but it's also extremely sad. Now, Deena, what are some things that we can do to stop this, or how do we address this?
So, you know, Mike, that's a really, really good subject today, because I just got back from camping. And I want to say there were 8 dogs out camping with 7 of us.
Uh-huh.
And 7 of those 8 dogs all came from our shelter.
Okay.
Some live in Phoenix, some live in Coolidge. Well, my point real quick is our shelter's #1 to adopt from in the state.
Wow.
That's pretty huge.
That is huge. Congratulations on that.
Yeah. But so anyway, out of these 8 dogs, we did not lose any of them. So I do not keep collars on my dogs when they're in the yard at home. There's several reasons for that. One is I've seen horror things of dogs getting their mouths stuck playing with another dog, and one of them dies.
Oh no.
With the collar on the neck. Yeah, literally. My dogs are all 3 microchipped.
As great.
But when we go camping, my dogs all have their collars and their tags on. And so we don't stake our dogs out, we watch our dogs. There's a perimeter that we will let them go in that we can always see them.
Right.
So out of all 8 dogs, none of them got lost. And so it breaks my heart when I see these posts on Lost and Found week after week after week,
right,
that they lost their dog and that they had to leave and go back to whether it was work or whatever the reason. That really breaks my heart.
I agree with you.
You know, so some of the things that you can do is put an article of clothing, a dirty article of your clothing that you had on, and put it somewhere. You know, people have put it out by a tree.
Uh-huh.
And the dog, they've come back and kept coming back. And eventually the dog has sat on that article of clothing waiting for them to get back.
Wow.
So there's things like that. Definitely get posting and call around to all the neighboring towns and let every shelter, humane society, rescue, whatever it is, let them know that your dog is missing. Send them a picture, get flyers around town, and never give up hope. Never give up hope.
I can't imagine the feeling of if one of my dogs did get lost, having to pack up camp without my dog. I don't think I could. I really don't think
I don't think I could
personally either.
No, I
understand
could.
circumstances, but I personally don't think I could.
You know what? Work and everything else can wait.
Really,
when we bring a dog
that's my
in,
family member.
That's exactly.
I just
they
lost my
become a family member.
my family
They're
member.
one of our kids.
Right.
You know.
They're exactly right.
Exactly. And so I could never do that. And another thing is, a little bit of safety when you adopt.
Okay.
When I do an adoption with somebody, I always tell them, when you get this pet home, before you open your car doors, have that leash in your arm and, tucked around here, your hands through it, before you open a door, because they don't know you and they don't know home yet.
Right.
So if they do, which happens often, I see this over and over again too, they get away from you. You can put anything you want out there. They're not
they don't
gonna
know
come
your
back 'cause
scent.
they don't know you.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately, we have this happen over and over. And, hopefully, eventually the dog gets found and brought back to us or over to Pet Allies or something, so that we can get that pet back.
Right.
And to the adopter too then eventually. But, it's just a very sad situation. Things like this can be avoided.
Right. The lost dog after you're on your way home. I mean, it all can be avoided.
It can be. And, I'm trying to be very nice about this because this could be one of my pet peeves.
Okay.
So all I can say is let's use common sense.
Sadly, it's not so common as it used to be, but let's try and dig up a little.
And, listen to what the people you're adopting or getting a pet from are telling you.
Right.
And definitely if you adopt from us and that pet gets away from you, call us. We've had many of us go out many times after work and look and look and look. And we're usually pretty successful in recovering these animals back to us because they know us.
Right.
They know us from the shelter.
Of course.
They don't know you as a new adopter yet.
And that's another reason that, yes, you met your dog there, and you adopted your dog or cat. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. You adopted your animal, and you've met them, and you feel that bond, but that you also took them away from what they are accustomed to, which is the shelter.
Yes.
And so, the car ride may be fun and they may enjoy your company, but when it boils down to it, me, you, anybody, a new surrounding can be uncomfortable.
Right.
Even if you're with people
Right.
It can still be uncomfortable.
And another thing is, when you get them home, if it's a bigger dog, if someone comes to your door,
right,
have the leash on them so
right.
they cannot jet out that door. And when, the dogs need time to decompress coming out of a shelter. Have a safe space for them. Some people believe in crate training. Some say, oh, no, that's mean. Really, it's not mean. I never crate trained until 15 years ago. We had a German short hair.
Uh-huh.
My husband and I and my son did. And we crate trained her. And she used that crate as her security. And that's what these pets need. These dogs need, a cat needs a quiet place to be able to get to when strangers are coming in. They're just getting accustomed to you as the new family.
Right.
And then you want to share your new pet, which is awesome. But remember, they have to have a safe, secure place that's just theirs to go to when they get overwhelmed.
I really never made this connection until you put it like that. My brothers and sisters were all adopted. I was adopted. And I was adopted very young. They were adopted at various ages in their childhood. And it took them 2 years, if not longer, in some ways, to adjust to this new family that they had just been brought into. And of course, it's going to take an animal the same idea of having to fully adjust. I really never made that connection until just now.
A safe, secure place where it's quiet and you can be alone.
And that's, yes, my brothers and sisters would have that place where they'd go to. And so, wow, that's wonderful. For sure.
So see, Mike, we've learned something today.
we did.
Actually,
I'm done. Cut. We're done. No.
Actually, and that's all it takes is just thinking. And, so often I've learned a lot being at the shelter. I've been there over 13 years, and I've learned a lot. I also had common sense when it came to dogs and stuff, but sometimes it's your first pet.
Right.
See, I've always
Listen to people that have had them. You may get tired of all the advice you hear. So how I deal with that is I listen and, I tuck it away if I think it's not helpful, but someday it might be.
Right.
You bring a new adult dog in from a shelter. They need time to decompress. They need a quiet place. And my old dog I was telling you about, Josephus, the one that was crate trained.
You're right.
I never shut her kennel door, ever, after years. She, you know what? If she was not happy out in the living room or a bunch of people came by or something, she went to the back room where her kennel was, and she would go to her happy place.
Because
it looked to me
like they were her happy place.
And her secure place where she was left alone.
Right. And
so
not everybody is very social. I mean, in humans, we have some people are, I forget all the terms. Yes, anyways. Okay, well, we'll be back in just a moment after I finish collecting my thoughts. We've got lots to tell you about. We've got ways to volunteer. We've got opportunities and things going on at the Doghouse Thrift Shop. And I guess we might even give you that final update on how our end of the summer and Happy Tales all went. We'll be back in just a moment. Hello and welcome back to Paw Prints on the Mountain, brought to you by the Humane Society of the White Mountains. I'm your host, Mike Bosely, and joining us today, as usual, is Deena Pace. Hello, Deena. So we were saying there before the break that we had lots of ways to volunteer. Now, there's a plethora of ways to volunteer. Like when you say volunteer, you almost just think like, oh, I'm going to get stuck cleaning out kennels. I don't want to do that all day. So there's lots of ways to volunteer for the society without having to clean out kennels. Now, that being said, we do need kennel cleaners. I mean, feel free. And if that's your thing, then please come on down. But what are some of the other ways that we can have volunteers? Volunteer holes? Yeah.
So at the shelter, of course, there is cleaning kennels.
There is cleaning.
That we could use help with. Because we're having problems trying to hire enough help. So there is a couple positions open there.
Okay.
So if anyone's interested, see if they're still open.
That's right.
All right, so there's laundry and dishes, because a lot of people don't realize that every animal gets clean bedding, clean dishes, and clean toys every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot more animals in there than just the adoption visible section. You've got a huge back area that's doing Humane Society stuffs. Right. And so that's a lot of animals.
Yes. That's a lot of laundry.
That's a lot of laundry.
Yes.
I will let Adria know how much laundry she doesn't do.
Yeah, tell her to come spend the day with us. We started at 7 in the morning and turn it off at 5 at night when we leave.
Wow.
So laundry, dishes, because we do feed twice a day. So clean dishes each time.
Right.
And so there's also, helping make phone calls. When you adopt from us, we follow through with a phone call anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks later to see how everything's going. Did you take them for their free wellness check, or do you have your appointment for that? Are you having any problems? And hey, when you're in town or you feel up to it, send us some pictures. Come on by and show us how you guys are doing.
Right.
You know, years ago, the animals used to hate being at the shelter. The most part, which I can't say they actually love it now, but some it's better than what they came from.
Of course,
if they've been
yes.
living out on the streets. But we see so many of our alumni come back, and they're so excited to hurry on in and love on all of us, and that says something for our care for them and our
yes.
love for them.
And your staff.
Yeah, us. Yeah,
Yeah.
us as a whole, the staff, the volunteers,
Right.
everyone that has cared for those pets before they left. And so anyway, there's that. There's making those phone calls for us.
Okay.
There's always fundraising. Because once again, some people don't know that we are not funded by any of the big animal organizations, any small animal organizations. We're funded by ourselves.
Right.
So we do fundraising, we do donations, we do our doghouse thrift shop.
Yes, and that is our everyday fun. Now, there's all kinds of volunteer opportunities at the doghouse.
Yes, that was another volunteer opportunity, is over at our doghouse. You know, if you want to make a difference, and a lot of people want to help the homeless animals, but they feel it's too sad to be at the shelter.
Right.
Our doghouse is the perfect place for them to volunteer, because over there, you're making the money to keep those animals fed and cared for.
Right.
In a very spoiled way that they've become with us.
Well, that's why you guys are #1 for adoptions in the state.
Right.
I mean, it's because of the level of care and love that the animals get.
Yeah.
That's undeniable. You guys
just ask us. We'll tell you it is undeniable, But over at the doghouse, you can help by processing donations, dusting, sweeping, going through. Processing means looking at the stuff. Is this worthy for sale? Would you buy this?
Can I touch on a point? We're going to
Please.
veer from the volunteer. There's lots of volunteer opportunities, so much that we will continue that list in moments. But I'm going to stop, Deena. The doghouse thrift shop, and a lot of people may not know this. The doghouse thrift shop, when you just dump your garbage, that used mattress that really belongs in a dump, when you bring it to the Humane Society, to the doghouse thrift shop, we can't sell that. Nobody's going to buy that. So the Humane Society has to pay to take it to the dump. So not only are you being a very not nice person, but now you're being a not very nice person and costing the animals.
Yes.
And it's more than just mattresses. It's dirty laundry. It's your broken stereo. I swear it works. Look, we're not here for that. We want your new or gently used items. I have a horrible habit of buying things, not online, and not needing them for the project.
Right.
So now I've got this spare brand new curtain set that's in the package.
Right.
I'm never going to use that
Right.
curtain. It was really for that project. That is when it needs to go to the Humane Society, to the doghouse thrift shop. The new or gently used items. If you would not give it to your grandmother, you don't need to give it to us. And your grandmother is going to tell you if it's garbage or not. So try and maybe keep that in your mind. Back to volunteers.
Okay.
All right.
So they can sort through that. Make sure that there's 2 shoes to that pair of shoes.
Oh, you're killing me. Oh.
No, sometimes we get 1 shoe. Sometimes we get some of those stereos with no way to plug it in. So anyway, there's that stuff. There's just tons of opportunity,
There's almost, no matter what someone's career field is, if they've got spare time, we can find a way. If they're a spare plumber, let us know.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm sure there's something we could use a spare plumbing for.
Yes.
So whatever your skills in life are, there's a way to use those skills and benefit the society at the same time.
Absolutely. You know, if people look at our website, which is hswm.org, there is, you know, we have ways to help us there too, like pro bono electricians, maintenance men that, you know, can fix those kennels for us. Because Debbie's staff at the shelter is all women
Right.
right now. And, you know, I will tell you, those women are hard-working gals. They really are. And I mean, I hate to see them out there, you know, trying to fix all these kennels or trying to change light bulbs. When if we had someone on board that said, hey, when you got stuff like this that needs to be done, give me a call. You know, pavers that need to go into, you know, because we have our walk going into the shelter.
Right.
And we sell those pavers. It's called Paving Your Way to a Brighter Future. And those pavers need to be inserted into the ground when we get those sold, and they're engraved. And there's just tons and tons of stuff. There's weed eating at both the doghouse and over there at the shelter. You know, pro bono electricians, plumbers, any skills you have,
Right.
we can use you at some time or another, I promise.
Right.
You know?
Now, we have a new volunteer coordinator there at the society, and I would love to give a shout out to Callie. I'm super stoked for you, young lady. Cannot wait to see what you do. But she is a bubbly, fun gal.
Callie is. So she has gone, she went from our lead kennel technician, who is now Amber, and Callie has moved over more into the medical and into being our volunteer coordinator. So I have to sit down, because we are shorthanded. It's kind of crazy right now, Mike. So we've got to sit down and get going on our volunteer stuff with her.
Right, okay.
So that she can get on top of it, because Callie is such a people person.
Yes, she is.
She will thrive in this. And I think all the volunteers that already know her love her.
Right. How can you
know?
not love her?
I know.
I don't live with her, but I'm sure, I mean,
Right.
I'm sure he loves her too.
Right, I'm sure he does, or he wouldn't be there, right? So anyway, I mean, so we're very excited to have Callie come on board to that position.
I'm very
now.
excited for her. Very
yeah,
excited.
and so she'll do the orientations, of course, for the shelter and for the doghouse. And you know, the volunteer opportunities goes into floats, building floats
That's right.
for us.
That's right.
You know, coordinating our dog walkers, our pet sitting that we do at the fall festival. All that kind of stuff is things we use volunteers for.
So there's an endless list of reasons to
There
volunteer at the Humane Society.
There is, you know, even if you've got, you know, here's something that really takes up a lot of time from the staff.
Okay.
Is doing introductions to the animals when people come in to meet what we have available for adoption.
So Humane Society ambassadors.
Correct. So Callie is going to, once she gets going, by next summer, we will have this fully in place. And hopefully our volunteers will step up for schedules and saying, hey, I'll come in on Tuesdays from, say, 10:30 to 2:30, and I will do the tours with people when they come in and want to see the animals.
Wonderful.
You know, and that'll free up the staff to be able to care for the pets and not, you know, have to be pulled away. Not that they mind.
Right.
But there's sometimes they're right in the middle of, say, vaccinations, health checks, whatever, that they can't get right up to the front. So by volunteers to be able to do this, come in, meet the animals before your shift starts, you know,
Right.
and know a little bit about them when you're hopefully going to get them adopted, because that is such a rewarding part of these
and
jobs.
I can only imagine that. I mean, yeah, you don't have to poop, scoop, or do anything. You just get to do the happy part.
Exactly.
That's not a bad gig at all.
No. And if you're a dog walker, you could walk them if you want to,
yes,
you know?
yes.
So absolutely. So there's so many opportunities, because really and truly, Mike, we can't do what we do without our volunteers. So we value each and every volunteer with us. And we lose so many of them in the wintertime because they go down where it's warmer.
Right.
I'm going to be one of those volunteers someday.
Someday.
I am going to be.
Be a snowbird. I think you have deserved it. That being said, you can't go anywhere.
Someday. I'm not getting any younger.
Someday. That is very correct. Now, speaking about volunteers, once again, I wanted to give another huge shout out to the volunteers that did Happy Tales. I know it was there back at the end of August, but it's amazing the work, as being on the board, we've seen the numbers, we've seen the things that did go on. Mind-blowing, ladies and gentlemen, what the volunteers accomplished. Mind-blowing is how the community supports the Humane Society. So if you came out in any way to Happy Tales last end of August, I wanted to give you a personal thank you. It was one of the top years of Happy Tales, and we were very excited. We look forward to doing it next year. But we're going to have to keep doing this next month. That's going to do it for us this time. We'll see you right here on Paw Prints on the Mountain, brought to you by the Humane Society of the White Mountains. I'm Mike Bosely.